Hey everybody, this is Brett. And this morning I woke up to a comment on one of my previous videos about the you know what. And he said that the polio you know what, the jab, was just an amazing thing that saved so many lives and prevented all this illness, etc., etc. Sorry, I just woke up. and And so I just quickly looked up the polio disease, and I want to read to you. It didn't take me more than about a minute to find this. Here's the stats. Okay? Here's the stats on polio. This is from the website ourworldindata.org. Permanent paralysis, Permanent paralysis fortunately occurs in only 0.5% of infections. Read that again. Permanent paralysis fortunately occurs in only 0.5% of infections. The majority of infections, 72%, do not lead to any symptoms. Nothing. Nothing. Zero. About a quarter of the cases, 24%, result in abortive poliomyelitis, which leads to nonspecific symptoms for a few days, such as fever or a cold. And 1 to 5% of cases lead to non-paralytic asymptomatic meningitis, in which the patient suffers from stiff limbs for up to 10 days. Okay, so 1 to 5% have stiff limbs for up to 10 days. These are the facts from the website ourworldindata.org. Might I read them just one more time for you? Permanent paralysis, unfortunately, occurs in only 0.5% of infections. That's 1 out of 200 people. What specifically is it that the 1 out of 200 people have not done very well to lead them to this place of where they're susceptible to permanent paralysis? Permanent paralysis. Okay, so for me, I think to myself, and I compare myself to the average person out there, and I think, what are the chances that me, somebody that does all of the things that I do for my health, what are the chances that if I caught polio, that I would be one of those 200 people? I would say about 1 in a freaking billion, my friends. So you think to yourself, am I somebody that's able to fight off disease? Or am I one of those people that's susceptible to being the 1 out of 200 that catches some kind of an illness and then I actually die of it? 1 to 5% of cases of polio leads to non-paralytic aseptic meningitis, in which the patient suffers from stiff limbs for up to 10 days. That's the second worst case. Okay, so I actually have seen, I had a massage client that had polio back in the 50s. And he had a leg that was messed up. I can't remember what it was. It was about his calf, his right calf, was half the size of the other one. He could still walk. So there are a very small percentage, according to this, 1 out of 200 people. actually get a serious illness, a serious paralytic, what do they call it? Permanent paralysis from polio. So those of you that are thinking that the jab for that they got back then and are still people around the world in some places are still getting today. Those of you that think that it was just the most wonderful thing that saved millions and millions of lives, it was just great. I would kind of reconsider that. When you read the actual stats here, I would reconsider that because it doesn't seem like it was that aggressive of a disease that killed that high of a percentage of people. It only paralyzed 1 out of 200 people that caught it, according to this website, ourworldindata.org. I don't know what the guy had. I can't remember. I didn't talk to him that much about it. He used to come to me all the time for massage. I would massage his leg, and I don't know how the specifics about his illness. So you can look it up yourself. Here, I'll give you the link so you can read the whole article. And I just find it amazing how they're always talking about the magic of science and how they save so many people with their jabs, you know. They never talk about all the people that are using herbs and, you know, eating really healthy food. They never talk about those people and the percentage of those people that get sick and then they die, or they never talk about like how they live a lot longer. People that focus on a really healthy diet live a lot longer. You don't hear that from places like the CDC. They're never going to talk. The CDC is never going to talk about organic food and natural treatments, natural remedies. They're never going to talk about any of that because they have their own agenda. So what did I tell the person that said that it was like in a comment on one of my other videos, how wonderful the polio jab was? I didn't tell them well, I told them that they were on the wrong channel and then I blocked them. Okay, so I don't want to hear a bunch of idiocy. If you're somebody that's like pro conventional medicine, you're on the wrong channel if you're like watching my videos, because that is all such a bunch of crap. Conventional medicine, in my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion, YouTube, conventional medicine is for people that are eating at McDonald's. It's right down my street. It's 2 blocks, it's 3 blocks straight down my street. It's right there. And those people are lined up around that McDonald's. They'd be lined up around it if it were open all day. They'd be lined up around it at night too, in the middle of the night. If they didn't close, they could make more money. It's amazing. Absolutely blows me away. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. And if you don't know already, there's no way in hell that I'll ever get any kind of an injection from anyone. You'll notice that I've not said the V word. I'm almost like afraid that their system will pick up the V word and scan this video. But I want to thank you so much for joining me. Be well.